Jack Harper stared out the viewport of the shuttle as it approached the massive space station. The Galactic Council headquarters floated against the backdrop of swirling nebula gases, its ring-shaped structure gleaming with thousands of lights. Jack adjusted his black tie and smoothed down his suit jacket. His reflection showed a man in his 40s with short brown hair, a strong jaw, and eyes that had seen too much. 10 minutes to docking, Ambassador Harper, said the pilot. Jack nodded, but said nothing. He never wanted this job. After 20 years in Special Forces, he had planned to retire to his cabin in Montana. But when aliens made contact with Earth 6 months ago, everything changed. The call from the president had been unexpected. "We need someone who understands both war and peace, Jack," she had said. "Someone who can smile and shake hands while seeing the knife hidden behind their back." Earth's invitation to join the Galactic Council had come with many strings attached. Humans were newcomers, untested and feared. Their inability to be read by the psychic abilities most alien species possessed made them suspicious to the Council races. They called humans the blind spot species. Some Council members had even voted against allowing Earth to join at all. Jack's shuttle docked with a gentle bump. He gathered his few belongings and walked to the airlock. His heartbeat remained steady, his breathing calm. He had faced death many times before. Diplomatic meetings should be easier than dodging bullets. Should be. 2 aliens waited for him at the dock. They had blue skin that seemed to shimmer in the light, with 4 arms and large black eyes. "Ambassador Harper," said the taller one. "I am Nix, assistant to the Council Secretary. This is Vela, your assigned guide." Jack smiled and bowed slightly. "Thank you for the welcome. I look forward to representing Earth in the Council." "Your quarters have been prepared," said Vela. Her voice sounded like wind chimes. "The first general session begins tomorrow. Tonight. There is a reception for new ambassadors." They led him through wide corridors filled with beings of all shapes and sizes. Some looked almost human. Others resembled nothing Jack had ever seen. Many stopped to stare at him as he passed. Jack noted their reactions, categorizing them as curious, hostile, or indifferent. It was a habit from his military days that had saved his life many times. His quarters were larger than he expected, with views of space through a curved window. The furniture had been adjusted for human comfort, though the bed was too soft and the chairs too low. "Ambassador Creel of the Zothar has requested to meet you before the reception," said Nix. "He is waiting in the diplomatic lounge." Jack had been briefed about Creel. The Zothar were one of the oldest council species and had been the loudest voice against human membership. "I'll be there in 20 minutes, Jack said. After Nix and Vela left, Jack quickly searched his quarters for surveillance devices. He found 3 and left them untouched. From a hidden pocket in his luggage, he removed a small device and pressed it against his wrist. The needle injected the nanobots that would protect him from most known poisons and enhance his strength if needed. Another gift from Earth Command. The diplomatic lounge buzzed with conversation when Jack arrived. Beings from dozens of worlds, clustered in groups drinking colorful liquids from oddly shaped glasses. The room fell silent when he entered. Ambassador Creel was easy to spot. The Zothar stood 7 feet tall, with red-scaled skin and a crest of dark spines running from his head down his back. His eyes were yellow with vertical pupils that narrowed when he saw Jack. "Ambassador Harper," Creel said, his voice deep and rumbling. "How good of you to join us. The Deathbringer species finally takes its place among civilized beings." Jack maintained his smile. "We prefer to be called humans, Ambassador Creel, and we come in peace." "Do you?" Creel moved closer. "Your kind has known nothing but war for your entire short history. You kill each other over land, over resources, over ideas. How long before you bring that violence to the stars?" Other ambassadors had gathered around them, watching the exchange with interest. Jack could feel their unease. To them, he was an unknown factor, impossible to read with their psychic abilities. "We've learned from our mistakes," Jack said calmly. "Humans have achieved peace among our nations. We seek only friendship and trade with the council worlds." Creel laughed, a harsh sound like grinding metal. "Pretty words from a pretty mouth. But we see you clearly, human. Your government sends a soldier to play diplomat. Did they think we wouldn't notice the blood on your hands? Jack kept his expression neutral, though his mind raced. How did they know about his military background? Earth had been careful to scrub his public records. I've served my planet in many ways, Jack said. Now I serve through diplomacy. Shall see. Creel turned away, dismissing him. Enjoy the reception, Ambassador Harper, while you can. The threat was clear. Jack accepted a drink from a hovering service drone and sipped it carefully. His nanobots would neutralize most poisons, but not all. Throughout the evening, Jack met representatives from many worlds. Some were polite but distant. Others seemed genuinely interested in Earth and humans. A few were openly hostile, echoing Creel's sentiments about humanity's violent nature. Jack played his role perfectly, smiling and exchanging pleasantries. But his eyes missed nothing. He noted which species clustered together, which seemed to hold power, which deferred to others. He noticed Creel meeting quietly with 5 other ambassadors in a corner, their conversation intense. Back in his quarters, that night Jack encrypted and sent his first report to Earth Command. Hostility higher than expected. Zothar particularly aggressive. Suspect deeper plans in motion. Continuing observation. As he prepared for bed, Jack's secure communicator blinked with an incoming message. The encryption was the highest level, meant only for absolute emergencies. The message contained just 5 words. Phoenix Protocol now active. Stand ready. Jack's face hardened. Phoenix Protocol was Earth's last resort plan, to be activated only if intelligence suggested an imminent threat to humanity's existence. Something had been discovered, something that made Earth Command believe they were in grave danger. He looked out at the stars, thinking of home, of the billions of humans who had no idea what might be coming. They had sent him here as a diplomat, yes, but also as something else, their insurance policy. Jack checked his hidden weapons one last time before sleep. Tomorrow he would smile and play diplomat again. But tonight, he acknowledged what he truly was. Death in a perfectly tailored suit waiting to be unleashed if necessary. 3 months passed quickly on the council station. Jack learned the complex dance of interstellar politics, attended countless meetings, and filed regular reports to Earth Command. On the surface, he played the perfect diplomat, polite, attentive, and always smiling. But beneath that carefully crafted exterior, Jack watched and waited. The emergency alert woke him at station midnight. His comm unit flashed red, and the automated voice was cold and clear. All council representatives to emergency session. Immediate attendance required. Jack dressed quickly, checking his hidden weapons by habit. Emergency sessions were rare. Something serious had happened. The council chamber was already buzzing with voices when Jack arrived. The huge circular room held 300 seats, arranged in rising tiers around a central speaking platform. Many representatives looked confused. Others seemed angry. A few appeared frightened. Jack took his seat in the human section, noting which ambassadors were huddled together in urgent conversation. Ambassador Creel of the Zothar sat with his back straight, his yellow eyes fixed on Jack with barely hidden satisfaction. The council secretary, a tall being with silvery skin, raised her forearms for silence. The chamber quieted immediately. Representatives of the Galactic Council, she began, her voice echoing. It is with deep regret that I must inform you of an attack on the Proxima Centauri mining colony. All human personnel have been killed. Jack felt the news like a physical blow. 3,000 miners and their families lived on that colony. He kept his face carefully blank as murmurs filled the chamber. Evidence suggests a terrorist group known as the Free Stars Movement is responsible, the secretary continued. They have claimed the attack was in protest of Earth's admission to the Council. Jack's comm unit vibrated with an incoming message. He glanced down to see a file transfer from Earth Intelligence. Opening it discreetly, he found energy weapon signatures from the attack scene. They matched Zothar military weapons exactly. Jack stood and requested to speak. The secretary nodded, and Jack walked to the central platform. The evidence points to a different conclusion, he said calmly. These energy signatures belong to Zothar military-grade weapons, not terrorist equipment. The chamber erupted. Creel leapt to his feet, his spines fully extended in anger. "How dare you?" Creel shouted. "Humans fabricate evidence to cover their own failures in security. Perhaps this was even staged to gain sympathy." Other representatives joined in, some supporting Jack, others backing Creel. The carefully maintained order of the council crumbled in minutes. Jack stood still in the center, watching as millennia of diplomatic protocols disintegrated into chaos. The secretary finally restored order, declaring the session adjourned until further investigation could be conducted. As representatives filed out, Jack noticed Creel meeting with the same 5 ambassadors he had seen that first night. Their expressions were grim but determined. Back in his quarters, Jack received an encrypted message from Earth Command. "Phoenix Protocol activated. You are authorized." Jack opened a hidden compartment in his luggage and removed a small metallic disc. He placed it against his temple, wincing slightly as the neural link connected. Instantly, his military implants activated fully. Strength enhancers, combat reflexes, tactical analysis systems, all the modifications that had been dormant for months came online. He sat at his desk and reviewed the files on the Proxima Centauri attack once more. The evidence was clear. This was no terrorist attack. This was the first move in a planned war against humanity. Jack's enhanced senses detected the slight change in air pressure first. Someone had overridden his door lock. Moving silently, he positioned himself behind the door just as it slid open. 6 figures entered, moving in perfect formation. They wore stealth suits and carried sonic disruptors, weapons designed to incapacitate any living being without causing structural damage. Jack recognized the design, Zothar military issue. The first assassin swept the room with his weapon. Jack waited until the figure passed his position, then struck. His hand, now faster and stronger than any normal human, closed around the attacker's throat. The assassin died before he could make a sound. The second attacker sensed something wrong and turned. Jack was already moving, his fist connected with the attacker's faceplate, shattering it. The alien screamed, alerting the others. Sonic waves filled the room as the remaining assassins fired their weapons. To most species, the sound would cause immediate unconsciousness. To Jack, with his military implants filtering the frequency, it was merely annoying. He moved through the assassins like a ghost, striking with precise, lethal force. One by one, they fell. The last attacker managed to activate an emergency beacon before Jack reached him. "Who sent you?" Jack demanded, pinning the alien against the wall. The assassin laughed, a gurgling sound through his breather mask. "You are too late, human. The cleansing has begun." Jack examined the assassin's uniform more closely and found a small insignia, the personal mark of General Varric, Ambassador Creel's brother and commander of the Zothar military forces. Station. Security would arrive soon. Jack had minutes at most. He accessed the neural link, downloading the evidence of the attack and sending it to Earth Command, along with his conclusions. Then he stripped one of the assassins of his stealth suit and put it on. Moving silently through the station service corridors, Jack made his way to the diplomatic docking bay. Ambassador Creel's private shuttle sat ready, its systems on standby. Using the access codes he had memorized months ago, Jack boarded the vessel and initiated launch procedures. By the time station security reached Jack's quarters and found the bodies of the assassins, his shuttle was already breaking away from the station. The council communications channels exploded with accusations. Ambassador Creel demanded Jack's immediate capture, claiming he had murdered his security detail without provocation. The council declared Jack Harper a fugitive and dispatched pursuit vessels. But Jack had disabled the shuttle's tracking systems. He set course for the one place that could confirm his suspicions, the secret Zothar military installation on Proxima Centauri 4. As the shuttle jumped to faster-than-light travel, Jack reviewed what he knew. The assassination attempt proved one thing. Someone was afraid of what he might discover. The Phoenix Protocol authorized him to act with full autonomy to protect Earth by any means necessary. Jack looked at his reflection in the shuttle's viewport. His eyes were different. Now, cold and focused. He was no longer playing the diplomat. Now he had become what Earth had really sent him to be. Their weapon, their vengeance. The shuttle computer chimed, indicating they were nearing the Proxima Centauri system. Jack prepared his weapons and stealth systems. Soon, he would have proof of the conspiracy against humanity. And then those responsible would learn why humans had survived countless wars on their violent home planet. They would learn why sending assassins after Jack Harper was the worst mistake they could have made. Jack's stolen shuttle exited light speed at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system. Through the viewport, he could see the red dwarf star glowing dimly. The fourth planet, a rocky world with thin atmosphere, hung in the distance. According to Earth intelligence, the Zothar maintained a secret military base there, disguised as a scientific research station. Jack activated the shuttle's stealth systems and approached the planet slowly. Ambassador Creel's security codes would get him past any automated defenses, but he needed to remain undetected as long as possible. The shuttle's sensors picked up a large structure on the planet's surface. It was built into the side of a mountain, with landing pads and defensive positions that did not match any scientific research facility Jack had ever seen. He landed the shuttle in a narrow canyon 2 miles from the base. The thin atmosphere meant he needed to wear an environmental suit to survive outside. Jack put on the suit he had found in the shuttle's storage compartment, making sure to check it for tracking devices or sabotage first. The gravity on Proxima Centauri IV was slightly less than Earth normal. Jack moved quickly across the rocky terrain, his military implants helping him maintain balance and conserve oxygen. He reached the perimeter of the base within an hour. Security was heavy but focused outward, not expecting threats from the surface. Jack watched the patrol patterns, noting the gaps. When a supply transport approached the main entrance, he made his move using the vehicle's shadow to slip past the perimeter sensors. Inside, the base was a hive of activity. Zothar soldiers moved with purpose, loading weapons onto transport ships. Jack stayed hidden, using air ducts and maintenance corridors to move deeper into the facility. He needed to find a command center or data hub. His implants scanned for network signals, detecting a strong concentration 3 levels below. Jack made his way down, avoiding patrols and security checkpoints. The data center was protected by a biometric lock keyed to Zothar DNA. Jack removed a small device from his belt, another tool Earth had provided. It contained synthesized Zothar genetic material, enough to fool the simple scanner. The door slid open. Jack worked quickly at the main terminal, using Creel's access codes to bypass the security systems. What he found confirmed his worst fears and more. The Zothar weren't acting alone. 5 other council species had formed a secret alliance, planning a coordinated strike against all human settlements. Their justification, according to internal communications, was based on predictive models showing humanity would dominate the galaxy within 3 centuries, if left unchecked. The human immunity to psychic powers made them unpredictable and dangerous in the aliens' eyes. The attack on the mining colony had been a test run for their weapons against human targets. The full assault would begin in 72 hours. Jack downloaded everything: attack plans, fleet positions, communication protocols, and the names of everyone involved. As the data transferred to his neural link, he also discovered something unexpected. The Alliance had been secretly developing technology to counter human psychic immunity. They were afraid. A message from Creel to his brother, General Varric, caught Jack's attention. The human ambassador must be eliminated before he discovers the truth. Send your best. He is dangerous. Jack smiled grimly. They had no idea how dangerous. With the data secure, Jack prepared to leave. He needed to transmit the evidence to Earth Command immediately. But as he turned to exit, alarms blared throughout the facility. Someone had discovered the unauthorized data access. Moving quickly, Jack sealed the data center door and accessed the base communication system. Using an emergency frequency, he transmitted the evidence to Earth Command. The message would take hours to reach Earth, but it was better than nothing. The facility's internal security feeds showed soldiers converging on his position. Jack considered his options. The shuttle was too far to reach before they caught him. He needed another way out. The data he had downloaded included a complete layout of the base. There was a secondary landing pad on the north side, used for high-priority military transports. If he could reach it, he might find a faster ship than the diplomatic shuttle. Jack used his neural link to override the base's internal security systems, sealing doors and cutting power to slow down the pursuing soldiers. He moved through the facility like a shadow, his combat training and implants giving him an edge over the Zothar security forces. He was nearly at the north landing pad when he encountered the first real resistance. 6 elite Zothar warriors waited in the corridor, weapons ready. Their leader stepped forward, tall even for a Zothar, with a distinctive scar across his face. "You should not have come here, human," the Zothar said. "I am General Varric, brother, of Ambassador Creel. You have caused us much trouble." Jack assessed his opponents. Their weapons were set to kill, not capture. They had no interest in taking him alive. "Your secret is out," Jack said calmly. "Earth knows about your planned attack." Varric laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "It does not matter. By the time your message reaches Earth, our fleets will already be in position. You will die knowing your species will follow." Jack smiled for the first time since arriving. "You know, there's something your intelligence missed about humans," he said, removing his helmet. "We evolved as persistence predators. When we hunt, we never stop." Jack moved faster than the aliens expected, his implants pushing his body beyond normal human limits. The first warrior died before he could fire his weapon. The second managed to get off a shot that grazed Jack's shoulder before Jack broke his neck. The remaining 4 attacked at once. Jack took a hit to his leg but kept moving. His fists and feet struck with precision, targeting vital points in Zothar anatomy that Earth intelligence had identified. General Varric was the last one standing. He was a skilled fighter, avoiding Jack's initial attacks. "What are you?" he hissed as they circled each other. "I'm what Earth sends when diplomacy fails," Jack replied. Their fight was brutal, but brief. Varric's claws tore into Jack's side, but Jack's enhanced strength allowed him to lift the general and slam him into the wall hard enough to crack his spine. As Varric lay dying, Jack kneeled beside him. "Your war against humanity ends before it begins," Jack said. "Tell me where the attack fleet is gathering." Varric laughed through bloody teeth. "You are too late. Even now our ships move toward Earth. You have failed, Diplomat." The general's eyes dimmed as he died. Jack stood clutching his wounded side. The base security camera in the corridor was still active. Jack looked directly into it. Knowing Earth, Command would eventually see the footage. "Phoenix Rising," he said clearly. It was the code phrase indicating that the Phoenix Protocol had entered Phase 2, active countermeasures against an identified threat. Earth was no longer playing defense. The hunt had begun. Jack stole a small Zothar military shuttle from the north landing pad. His wounds needed attention, but there was no time. The data he had transmitted to Earth Command contained the locations of the enemy fleet gathering points. He needed to reach the nearest human outpost to coordinate with Earth's response. As he piloted the shuttle away from Proxima Centauri IV, Jack received an encrypted message from Earth Command. It was brief. "Phoenix Protocol Phase 2 active. Sleeper cells activated. Stealth fleet deployed. Proceed to coordinates attached. Authorization code, Lazarus." Jack studied the coordinates. They led to a seemingly empty region of space near the Sirius system. He plotted the course and activated the shuttle's faster-than-light drive. Meanwhile, across Council space, Earth's response to the conspiracy unfolded with swift precision. When humans had joined the Galactic Council, they had appeared open and trusting. In reality, they had been preparing for this possibility from the beginning. Sleeper agents, humans who had been quietly placed in key positions throughout Council space, received their activation orders. Some worked in communication hubs, others in defense installations or transportation networks. All had been waiting for this moment. At the same time, satellites that alien worlds had believed were simple communication relays revealed their true nature. Hidden weapons platforms came online, targeting key military installations on the conspirator worlds. And from hidden locations throughout human space, ships unlike any the Council had ever seen moved into position. They were stealth vessels, designed to be completely invisible to standard Council sensors. Earth had kept their existence secret, presenting older, less advanced ships as the height of human technology. Ambassador Creel was in his private chambers on the Council station when his security chief burst in. "The human escaped from Proxima Centauri," the chief said, his voice shaking. "He killed General Varric and his elite guard." Creel's spines flared in anger. "How is that possible? No single human could defeat 6 of our best warriors." "The security. Footage shows." The chief hesitated. "It shows him moving faster than should be possible. His strength exceeded our estimates by at least 3 times. "Where is he now?" Creel demanded. "We don't know. He stole a military shuttle, but it disappeared from our sensors near the Sirius system." Creel activated his secure communication terminal. "Alert the fleet. The attack timetable must be accelerated. We strike now, before the humans can prepare." But when Creel tried to contact the fleet commander, he received no response. Reports began flooding in from all 6 conspiracy members. Communication networks were failing. Defense systems were shutting down. Military vessels were reporting equipment failures. It was happening too fast and too coordinated to be coincidence. "We've been compromised," Creel realized with growing horror. The humans knew. They've been planning for this. On the Council station, emergency alarm sounded. The secretary called for another emergency session. Representatives rushed to the Council chamber, faces showing confusion and fear. Jack's stolen shuttle reached the coordinates Earth Command had sent. At first he saw nothing. Then, as if emerging from thin air, a massive human warship appeared. It was the UES Nemesis, Earth's first true battleship, kept hidden from the Council until now. The shuttle's communication system crackled. "Ambassador Harper, this is Captain Susan Blake of the UES Nemesis. Welcome aboard." Jack docked with the warship and was met by medical personnel who treated his wounds. Captain Blake briefed him as they walked to the bridge. "Earth received your transmission," she said. "President Martinez activated the full Phoenix protocol within minutes. Our stealth fleet is positioning near all 6 conspirator homeworlds. Sleeper agents have disabled their major defense systems and communication networks." "Casualties?" Jack asked. "Minimal," Blake replied. "Our priority is neutralizing their ability to attack, not killing their civilians. President Martinez wants to avoid unnecessary deaths." On the bridge, Jack watched the tactical display showing human forces moving throughout Council space. The conspiracy had expected to face a naive species still finding its place in the galaxy. Instead, they had awakened a giant that had been silently preparing for war while talking peace. "The Council has called an emergency session," Blake said. "They're demanding explanations for the unprovoked human aggression. The conspirators are claiming innocence." Jack's expression hardened. "Set course for the Council station, maximum speed." "Are you sure that's wise?" Blake asked. "You're a wanted fugitive there." "I have the evidence," Jack said. "The Council needs to see the truth." The Nemesis arrived at the Council station 6 hours later. By then, human forces had secured all major military installations of the 6 conspiracy members. Their fleets were surrounded by Earth stealth ships, unable to move without being destroyed. The Council chamber was in chaos when Jack walked in. He still wore his torn environmental suit, stained with his blood and that of General Varric. Human. Special forces materialized throughout the chamber, having been present but invisible the entire time. "This session is adjourned," Jack announced, his voice cutting through the noise. Ambassador Creel stood, his yellow eyes blazing with hatred. "How dare you bring armed forces into the sacred Council chamber? This proves humans are the savages." "We always claimed." Jack walked to the central platform, ignoring Creel's outburst. "I have evidence of a conspiracy by 6 Council members to commit genocide against humanity," he said, his voice calm, but carrying to every corner of the chamber. He activated the neural link, projecting the data he had stolen onto the chamber's main display. Communications between the conspirators, attack plans, and recordings from the Proxima Centauri base played for all to see. "The mining colony attack was just the beginning," Jack continued. "They planned to destroy all human settlements within the next 72 hours. The chamber fell silent as the evidence unfolded. Many representatives looked shocked. Others seemed unsurprised, as if they had suspected something like this all along. Creel lunged toward Jack, claws extended. "You have ruined everything." Jack sidestepped the attack with inhuman speed. Before anyone could react, he had Creel pinned to the floor, one arm twisted behind his back. "Earth does not want war," Jack said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "We came to the Council seeking peace and cooperation, but we will not allow ourselves to be exterminated." He looked up at the gathered representatives. "As we speak, human forces have neutralized the military capabilities of all 6 conspiracy members. Their fleets are surrounded. Their weapons are disabled. We could destroy them now, but we choose not to. That is the difference between us." Jack released Creel and stood. "The Council must decide. Will you stand for peace, or will you defend those who planned genocide?" The vote, when it came, was overwhelming. The 6 conspiracy members were suspended from the Council pending further investigation. Human forces would remain in place until a peacekeeping mission from neutral Council races could take over. As Jack left the chamber, Captain Blake approached him. "Earth Command sends new orders," she said quietly. "There's one more mission before this is over." Jack sat in the briefing room of the UES Nemesis, studying the information on the screen before him. His wounds had been treated, his torn environmental suit replaced with a fresh black diplomatic outfit. He looked once again like the polished ambassador who had first arrived at the Council station 3 months ago. But his eyes were different now. Colder. Focused. Captain Blake entered the room, followed by 3 officers. "We've received final confirmation of the mission from Earth." "Command," she said. "The evidence you gathered revealed something we didn't expect." The main screen displayed images of a massive space station hidden in an asteroid field near the border of Zothar space. "This is the real command center of the conspiracy," Blake explained. "Our intelligence suggests the 6 ambassadors were just pawns. The true architects are a group that calls themselves the Purity Council." Jack studied the station's defenses. "What do we know about them?" "They're extremists who believe psychic abilities are what separates civilized species from animals. They've been manipulating Council politics for centuries. Humans represent their worst fear, a species immune to their influence that's spreading rapidly through the galaxy." The mission was clear. The Purity Council had to be confronted and their operations dismantled. As the architects of the planned genocide against humanity, they could not be allowed to remain in power. The Nemesis approached the hidden station using its stealth technology. Scans showed minimal defenses. The Purity Council had relied on secrecy rather than weapons to protect themselves. Jack led a team of 20 human Special Forces soldiers. They boarded the station silently, encountering no initial resistance. The corridors were white and sterile, more like a temple than a military facility. They reached a large circular chamber at the center of the station. 7 beings sat in a circle, each from a different species. They wore white robes with gold symbols. None of them looked surprised to see Jack and his team. The tallest of the 7 stood. Unlike the others who appeared almost frail, this one had a powerful build and eyes that glowed with an unnatural blue light. "Ambassador Harper," he said, his voice deep and resonant. "Or should I call you Executor Harper? We have been waiting. For you." Jack signaled his team to secure the room. "You know who I am," he said. "But I don't know you. I am Zorat, first voice of the Purity Council. We have guided the galaxy for 10,000 years. We have eliminated 17 species that threatened the proper order. Humans were to be the 18th. Jack kept his expression neutral. "You failed." Zorat smiled, showing sharp teeth. "Did we? You stand here ready to kill us in revenge. You prove our point about your violent nature." "We're not here for revenge," Jack replied. "We're here for justice. You will stand trial for conspiracy to commit genocide." The other council members rose together. "We will not be judged by animals," one hissed. "Your immunity to our gifts is an abomination. You spread through the stars unchecked, uncontrolled. We saw what you would become." "And what's that?" Jack asked. The end of the old order, Zorat said simply. Our predictive models showed that within 3 centuries humans would dominate the council. Your kind would break the psychic harmony we have maintained for millennia. Jack took a step forward. So you decided to kill us all before that could happen? It was necessary, Zorat replied without remorse. Just as killing us now is necessary for you. We understand each other, Harper. We are both killers who serve a greater purpose. You're wrong, Jack said. I could kill you. Part of me wants to. But humans aren't what you think we are. He turned to his team. Secure them for transport. They'll face trial at the council. As the soldiers moved to comply, Zorat's eyes flashed brightly. We will not be taken, he shouted. The 7 council members began to glow with energy. The air in the chamber grew heavy with power as they joined their psychic abilities together in a desperate attack. Jack's soldiers dropped to their knees, clutching their heads in pain. But Jack stood firm, protected by his natural human immunity and his neural implants. He walked calmly through the psychic storm toward Zorat. This is why you fear us, he said. Not because we're violent, but because we're free. Your power doesn't work on us. Zorat's face contorted with rage. Then we will destroy this station and everyone on it. He pressed a device on his wrist. Alarms blared throughout the station as the self-destruct sequence activated. Jack moved faster than any normal human could, crossing the remaining distance to Zorat in a blur. His hand closed around the alien's wrist, crushing the device. It's too late, Zorat gasped. 2 minutes until total destruction. Jack turned to his team, who were recovering from the psychic attack. Get the other council members to the ship, he ordered. I'll deal with the self-destruct. As the soldiers escorted the 6 other council members away, Jack forced Zorat toward the station's control center. Deactivate it, he demanded. Zorat laughed bitterly. I cannot. It requires a special code that only all 7 of us together. No. Jack studied the alien's face. You're lying. There's always a failsafe. Fear flickered in Zorat's glowing eyes. Jack had guessed correctly. The data core, Zorat admitted. Destroying it will stop the countdown, but you'll never reach it in time. The station shuddered as the first wave of internal explosions began. Jack knocked Zorat unconscious with a precise blow and sprinted toward the data core. His enhanced body pushed beyond normal limits as he raced through collapsing corridors. The data core was housed in a shielded room at the lowest level of the station. When Jack reached it, barely a minute remained on the countdown. The door was sealed, designed to withstand any attack. Jack placed his palm against the security scanner. His neural implants interfaced with the system, feeding it complex algorithms that Earth's best hackers had developed. The door slid open. Inside, a crystalline structure pulsed with energy. Jack didn't hesitate. He drew his weapon and fired repeatedly at the core until it shattered. The countdown stopped with 20 seconds remaining. The station was heavily damaged but intact. Jack returned to the control center and dragged the unconscious Zorat to the docking bay where the Nemesis waited. 1 week later, Jack stood before the full Galactic Council again. The chamber was more crowded than ever, with representatives from every member world present for this historic session. The 7 members of the Purity Council stood in the center, bound and guarded. For 10,000 years, these 7 have manipulated council politics, Jack told the assembly. They have eliminated species they deemed threats. They plan to do the same to humanity. The evidence was undeniable. Records from the hidden station revealed centuries of interference, engineered conflicts, and secretive genocide. The council's judgment was unanimous. The Purity Council members would be imprisoned for life. The 6 species who had joined the conspiracy against humanity would face sanctions but would be given a path to redemption. As for humanity, the council voted to create a new position, head of galactic security. Jack Harper was appointed its first director. Later, alone in his new office on the council station, Jack received a message from Earth's president. The Phoenix has risen from the ashes, it read. Because of you, humanity not only survived but will help build a better galaxy. The Diplomat did what all our warships could not. Jack smiled as he adjusted his black tie. The suit fit him perfectly. Once again, the perfect disguise for what he truly was. Not just a diplomat, not just a soldier, but a bridge between worlds. He had brought death to humanity's enemies, but now he would help bring life to a new era of galactic cooperation. Sometimes, the most dangerous weapon looked like a man in a simple black suit.